Today, Zak Hanshew from Rotoworld and I are going through our very first auction mock draft of the season. My very first auction mock draft ever. Let's go balls deep.
I could bet all of the riches that I ever had.
Welcome to another episode of the Balls Deep Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Fantasy Basketball International. FBIBasketball.com is our website. At AdamKing91 on Twitter is where you will find me. As I said, we are doing our first auction mock draft of the season. The draft is due to start in about 20 seconds, so I'm going to quickly hit pause just so I can bring Zach in and we can have a little bit of a chat. I will also be giving away 10 entries to the FBI Basketball Locked On Fantasy Basketball World Cup as I hit pause when this decides to start. Thinking. There we go. Pause. Draft. Okay, draft is pause. I will bring in Zach, or I'll unmute Zach so we can hear him. Zach, good evening. How are you?
Brother, good evening. Thank you for having me. Happy Australian Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Yep, we just had a nice breakfast of pancakes and fruit and syrup and cream and chocolate and all sorts of things. So I will try to stay awake and we'll see how we go. I think we're looking at about 2 hours. As I said, I've never done an auction draft. I know they're longer than a snake draft, but I've set the countdown and the time is fairly short. So we should be able to move through it relatively quick. No real advantage, I wouldn't think, to where you are on a draft board in an auction mock. Everyone's just nominating. Do you have a strategy, anything for anyone who is new to auction?
Yeah, be patient. I know that probably sounds like a given, right? But it is very, very easy to be tempted early in a draft and say, "Wow, this is great value," and blow all your money on the first 3 or 4 players, and then you're just sitting there for the rest of the time while 50 other guys go, and you have $5 to your name. So be patient. Wait until the end of the draft. You would be shocked how many valuable players are left that you can get very, very, very cheap.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see the value of players. We've converted my sort of home league, my cash league, into an auction draft this season. We've been running the league for 10 years, 12 years, and it's the first time we've done auction. So it's going to be interesting. This will give me a bit of a guide to what players are worth because, I really had no idea off the top of my head. So I am going to bring up the draft here and I will start the draft. So we've got a mixture of analysts and listeners in the draft, 6 and 6, I think. $200 salary, $200 to work with. I'm assuming it just snakes through. So we start with whoever, or does it go back to pick one? Do you know? Like, so if you have the first nomination, do you then get the 13th nomination?
I believe it snakes, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right. Well, let's have a look. I will resume the draft. So Alex Raclean is first up. So he'll pick someone to nominate. People can go back and forwards if they want to bid. All right. Zion Williamson is nominated for $1. I would assume he's going to go more than that, up to $3. Zion, interesting first player to come up, given the uncertainty around him. I know, having done a little bit of research, I know that someone like a Jokic or an Embiid, you're looking at around $60 to $65 for those sort of top end players. Zion's at $15 now. Alex actually wants him. I know it is, a lot of people do try to nominate players they don't want. to get some money off the board. It looks like Alex actually wants him because he's still bidding at $17. Do you have a strategy, like do you want to sort of get your guys up early and try and bid, or do you want to just get other players off the board, get money off the board?
Yeah, I like to get my guys out there. I'll take that back. I like kind of a healthy mix, because if you draft with some of the same people over and over, like you said, a home league with friends and family, or if you're doing these industry mocks where we all kind of know each other and the guys we like, it's easy to say, wow, Tyrese Halliburton's up there. I'm going to just keep bidding and bidding and bidding and just Zach to act stupid. And so those are always fun moments too for an auction draft, to kind of, troll people in your league if you know somebody really, really wants somebody badly. But you can also get burned and end up with somebody you don't want that way too. Yeah.
I would. We've got Zion went for $17, I believe, to Alex Reclean. We've got Damian Lillard on the board now, sitting at $37. I need to figure out how to turn these sounds off, because I've got someone constantly going off in my ear telling me that players are going once, going twice for every player. How do I turn the sounds off? Oh, I don't know. We've got Shai. Anyway, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is up.
Ooh, curious how much he goes for here.
I'm just escaping out of the full screen. See how I get. How do I get this sound off? Commissioner settings. I don't want commissioner settings, I don't think. Oh, man. I might just have to leave it on. Who knows? So Shai is sitting at $44, 45. So going up. So he's one of your top-end guys, and I'm thinking not quite up there with Jokic, Embiid, Luka. So I'm thinking 50-ish is a decent price for Shai. Would you agree with that?
That sounds about in the sweet spot. Especially, I don't think either of us expect him to replicate last season's performance, right? That to me kind of felt like a high water mark. So I think that reason alone, he'll get bid up beyond probably, what he's worth this season. So I'm going to stay away from him. I was in about $40 couple dollars, but I quit bidding after that.
Yeah, well, he's up to 52, and we've got Alex going sort of hell for leather here for him as well. So can I make this? I'm just going to make this.
Upper right of the draft room to mute, said somebody in the chat.
That's what I was looking at, but I can't find it. Draft settings. Rewind. No. Yeah, all I can find is commission. Oh, unless it's in general. Hang on. There we go.
All right.
Good-o. Hopefully I don't have to listen to that guy anymore. Thank you. It was Alex Barutha. Alex knows his stuff very good. So we got Shai went off the board for $53 to Alex Reclean. Raphael is nominating. No, Day-to-Day Fantasy is nominating. So Jokic. So we're going pretty top end here. We've got 4 potential first-round guys, or probably first-round players, going off the board. As I said earlier, for me, I think Jokic is 65-ish. He's up to 63. Are you getting in on this or not interested?
No, I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm usually somebody that is antsy and impatient and stupid early in these drafts. And so I spoke it into existence at the beginning, man. I'm not doing this shit right now where I get in on $70 for Jokic. It's not happening.
And interestingly, Alex is bidding. If he was to get him, he's doing the opposite to you. So he's going all in early, trying to get these high end guys. $74 we're up to for Nikola Jokic. That feels high to me. I'm not an expert by any means, but that's. Yeah. I mean, we've got a $200 budget. Woo. That's a chunky amount.
Oh, that's man. I'll tell you what, man. It almost feels like Reclean is going balls deep here.
He might be.
On getting Jokic.
He loves my show name so much. It looks like he might be out of the bidding now. So it looks like Mitch Casey and Raphael Johnson are
Still going.
Going $77 for Jokic.
Oh my gosh, take him at that. I think Raph is just the master. No, I thought Raph was trolling here. Oh my goodness, Raph, what are you doing, buddy?
They're still going. Is he going to hit
Wow.
80? Now 80 feels like a ton. But as you said, there is often
Raph.
a lot of value at the end once people run out of money. So, okay.
That is way too much.
Mitch Casey got him for $79. That's all right. Well done. Well done. Alex Barutha has put up Chet Holmgren. $2. He's an interesting one. Where do you think where does he fall in an auction draft? He's a bit of an unknown, I suppose, because first season in the league, basically.
I think if he gets nominated early in the draft like he is right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he went into the low to mid 40s. I mean, I think that's where people are going to bid him up to. He's kind of one of those hot, hype name type of guys right now.
Yeah, so
he's up
to 21. Yeah, look, I would think up to 30, maybe 30, low 30s. Yeah, he's an interesting one. You're up. So we got
McClutch.
Okay, so, all right, Mitch Casey. So he's gone Jokic and Holmgren back to back, and he spent $101 on those two players. I like $22 for Holmgren. I think that's a good price, but I think maybe he overpaid for Jokic.
Yeah, I tried getting in on that, and I forgot to hit the bid button. I hit the plus sign. I was trying to get him for 24, and I said, holy crap, I guess I missed him, but that's all right. McClutch won't be bidding on too many guys moving forward.
No, not for a little bit, I wouldn't think. We've got Joel Embiid now. I doubt he goes for the same price as Jokic, but we're up to 55 already. And you're up next, so you'll be nominating a player next. Have you got a certain player in mind that you want to put up?
I do. Let's get the party started early, man. Let's go with Chet's big brother, a little guy known as Victor Wembanyama.
All right.
Coming up next.
I want to ask you questions about your potential team, but I don't know if anyone's watching who's actually in the draft, and I don't want you to give away any of your secrets to them. So I did a show yesterday with NBA G Wiz. I think that's his username on Twitter, and we were talking about our discussion descended into team stacks. And for both of us, a Pacers stack this season is one of our favourites. And so that's where you would draft Halliburton in the first round. Miles Turner maybe in the second or third. Get Obi Toppin, Bruce Brown, and Buddy Hield late. So we talked about team stacks where you actually get 3 or 4 players from the same team, just a team that you really like. And it just made doing anything with you makes me think of Halliburton. So that was just on my mind. So we had.
Did we get him? We got him. Let's go.
Yeah. So, yep. Okay. So Embiid went for 61. That feels about right for Embiid. You nominated Victor Wembanyama and got him for $32. I think you're happy with that.
I'll live with that. I am happy. I missed out on Chet, but I do like Victor. Rafi. Oh man, Raph is going to end up bidding this guy way through the roof because he knows that I'm a stan right now.
So we're up to Anthony Edwards, and yes, Raph is bidding hard.
Yeah,
he's another hype guy, another guy that could get hyped a little bit too much. I'm thinking 45 for Edwards, which he's up to now. And you're getting in on this, so this is going to be a bidding war between you and Raph. Maybe are you?
I'll let him have him for 45.
Okay.
He can have him. That's all right. We'll hold off.
Okay, 45 feels okay to me. You would have been tempted there at 45.
Oh, I bid 44, and then Raph went for $1 more, and yeah, I bowed out.
And are you? I mean, we're very early. Obviously, you've only drafted one player, but are you looking at any sort of a punt strategy or anything here at the moment, or you're just targeting sort of players that you specifically want on your team?
Yeah, right now I'd like to grab guys that I like, but also I'm going to look for value, right? Like if Derek White is $7, then I'll take him at $7. That feels like a great value. If things like that come up. Now, if we're looking at Jokic for $80, that's a hard pass.
It looks like Raf is just like one of these poker trolls. Like when you're playing poker, they just keep bidding you up and up and up, knowing that they're actually not going to take anyone. They just like to bump up the price and get some money off the board.
And there he goes again with that. I mean, but then I don't like to let Derek White go for $10. But Raf can have him. I don't need to spend the $11.
Yeah. Okay.
Just take
and that's, I guess. I mean, look, maybe Raf does want these players, and this is exactly what he wants. But it could be that you're also making him draft players he doesn't really want. You don't know.
It's hard to say, man. He has a poker face for sure.
He does. Cade Cunningham. So one of my favourites is up here. Not as good as Anthony Edwards, so I don't think he's going to go for 45, but I would think he's maybe a 30-ish, feels maybe right, 35. So he's up to 32. Raf is bidding again.
Come on, Raf. There he goes again. Outbidding me by, come on, man. Jeez. These Rotoworld guys, man, what are you going to do with them?
I know, they're all the same.
Terrible.
As your children celebrate or something in the background?
It sounds like they're celebrating. We are 21-point dogs to Penn State tonight, so I would be shocked if they were celebrating, but I just want to show this real quick.
Yeah, show your shirt.
Eat shit Pitt. It's just like Roll Tide. You say it no matter who we're playing.
All right. Cade Cunningham went for $39.
That's not bad. You can live with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels a little high. Yeah, so someone commented there that he went for more than Lillard, which yes, he did. I think that's more about Lillard going cheap than Cade going high. I think Lillard went quite cheaply. Luka. Gee, we're going top heavy here, aren't we? So a lot of big names coming off the board earlier. So I guess people are just trying to get money off the board to try and snag those value picks a little bit later. Luka, we're up to 49. I'd have him sort of fairly close to an Embiid, around 60. That probably, I think he's starting to lock himself in as the somewhat consensus number 3 pick in snake drafts.
Yep, I think so as well. And I just wanted to, I know we're going a little off topic with Luka here, but this is just a reminder when you're doing these type of drafts, make sure you know what you're sorting by and what you're looking at, because Mikal Bridges is listed as, ranked higher than Luka. We have Van Vliet, Porzingis above some just really proven big name guys on here. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind when you're drafting and that you're not just going based on what Fantrax or Yahoo or ESPN tells you. Yeah,
very good point. It depends what you're adjusting. Like I would normally be, if I sort here on my screen, so that's what people can see. If I sort by ADP, it's a far better reflection of where players are going in drafts. Luka did go to Raf, so he's now got 3 players on his roster. He got Luka for 53. I don't mind that price. I think 53 is a good price, but he's now up to over $100 on 3 players. And then we've still got 5 teams that don't have any players at the moment. Who have we got? Mikal Bridges is up at $31. Are you worried about a little bit of a regression for Bridges this season compared to what he was doing down the stretch anyway last year?
I am not worried about a regression. I am really excited to see what he can do as the guy for a full season. So I think maybe we see his best basketball this year. I am not concerned about regression. Are you?
I'm probably not. I'm not too worried. I feel like he is settling into a nice range in drafts. So if we look at if I do scroll down, although he's probably went off the board, I don't know what his ADP is. I feel like getting him in sort of the oh no, late second round is okay. I'm hoping Ben Simmons has a bounce back season. That if he's healthy, if he's playing well, doing what we know he can do, that could impact Bridges. But we sort of need to see that before we believe it. You're getting in on some bidding here. Bridges went for $32. Halliburton, how high are you going to go? Are you going to go here?
Oh man,
He's at 55, and that feels close to what he should be going for.
Yep. And I'm going to let McClutch go ahead and whoever else wants to get in on this. I love Halliburton, but again, this is a every dollar matters type of situation. They can bid up to 60 for him.
Okay, very, very grown up of you, letting your favorite player slide to someone else. But sometimes you have to do that.
Hey man, we all have to grow.
Growing on the fly. $58 he's up to. Mitch got him. Okay. So Mitch has got, wow, not much money left.
Nope.
So he has spent $159 on Halliburton, Holmgren, and Jokic. So he has $41 left for 11 roster spots. Fair to say he probably won't be bidding for a while.
I would say that is more than fair, I would say. Ooh, let's see.
It's interesting to see. Like, I guess there's two trains of thought in terms of do we go if in a build like this is do I go top heavy like Mitch has done, get 2-3 first round players or sort of elite guys and then just fill your roster with role players, or do you leave these top guys for others to just throw all their money at and then just target a lot of mid-round sort of top 30 players and get 7 or 8 guys like that? I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way. I know I did a draft similar to this. It wasn't an auction, but it was a wacky way the draft was set up, and it ended up being a little bit like this. And I ended up going the path of not many. I didn't have any top elite guys except for LaMelo Ball, but he was injured, so I got him at a discount last season. Do you? I mean, obviously you've gone for Wembanyama, but you haven't really got in on the bidding on a lot of these guys. Is that what you're thinking? Just targeting some really solid guys that are going to have consistent roles?
Yeah, I'm just going to let the draft play out and look for that value. You mentioned the different strategies, and it kind of reminds me of like playing DFS on FanDuel or something, right? You going for the stars and scrubs, or you going for all $6,000 guys? And most of the guys that win, they do the stars and scrubs with the caveat that you have to hit every single scrub and every single star, or else it falls apart. So I think there's a lot more risk and a lot more reward with doing the top heavy strategy. But if you have Halliburton and Jokic, you're off to a phenomenal start as long as you fill in with, safe picks otherwise.
Yeah, I guess, as you said, that is the risk. Because if, for example, if Jokic gets injured, you're stuffed, basically.
That's it.
But so if you do go top heavy, you are sort of throwing all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Yeah. Just a quick recap: we had Jason Tatum. He went off the board for $49, which feels nice to me. I think that's a good price.
Yeah, like that.
Jaren Jackson went for $41 to Raf. So Raf continues on his buying frenzy. So just recapping, he has spent what do we got? $149 on 4 players. So a little bit like Mitch. He's basically where Mitch is, but he has 1 extra player. And we've now got Steph Curry sitting at $44, another top end player. So we're going to basically have, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've probably had 8, 9 first rounders go off the board so far. Is that a usual? Like, is this what usually happens in an auction? Do these big name players go early?
From what I've seen, yeah, this is exactly how it goes. Yep.
So Steph Curry went for 48. That feels all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yep. All right, here we go. Ja Morant. Sitting at $2. How high are we going for Ja Morant, given what we know about his missed games, the first third of the season?
I would go $10 or $12 here. I mean, when he comes back, I know there's concerns that he's he's deficient in several categories, but he's going to get you a ton of points. He's going to get you a bunch of assists.
Yeah.
You know what he's going to give you. He can have some of those league-winning weeks when he's really on fire.
So he's up to 12. So this is sort of the range you thought he might go, 10 to 12.
Yeah.
You're getting in on this, $13.
Yeah, lucky 13.
We'll see.
Oh, come on now! You hit me right in the sweet spot. I'm out.
You're out there. Okay.
I'm out.
So we have still got, despite a lot of bidding from Alex Barutha, he doesn't have anyone on his roster yet. So maybe he is playing that game of getting the value up on players that he doesn't want to get some money off the board. Still got 3 teams with no roster spots filled. You're still sitting at 1 with Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, man, I'm still kicking myself for not getting Holmgren, for not hitting that bid button, man. That just feels so cheap for him. $22.
It does, yeah.
That's a great price, man.
And that's probably something, I guess, in one difference I would say, even I'm not even in this draft, but just watching it and talking to you, you don't really get a break. In a snake draft, if you're picking at like pick 11, for instance, you've got a buffer probably of 10, 15 minutes between picks where you can just take a minute to reset, look over the board. In an auction draft, especially if it's quick bids, you need to be watching at all times, because if you go to sleep for 15 seconds, you might miss a guy at a good price. So Giannis, and just for anyone watching, that I had that question at the start of whether it snakes or whether it just goes back to pick one. It does snake, based on this. Yeah, I'm right saying that. Yeah, so it does snake. Not that it really makes a difference, but just if you are wondering. So we had Giannis was nominated there and went for $44. You were in there at 43, but didn't want to go any higher.
Yeah, I thought maybe Rick Clean was trolling me, so I figured just go ahead and troll yourself into $44, and then maybe that'll get him out of the some bidding wars for a while, because he's used up quite a bit of his cash. He
has, yeah. He's got Shea, Zion, and Giannis, and he's at what are we at? $114. So
yeah,
he's used a big chunk. Jalen Brunson. So here we go. This is a guy that's a little bit lower down the pecking order in terms of fantasy ranks, sort of top 30. He's up to $19. You don't look like you're interested in this one.
I just wanted to see where he was going to go. He's another guy that I think has kind of grown in popularity as the summer's gone on, especially, being a leader for Team USA, and after he just blew everybody away in the playoffs. So I like the price that he just went for. Was it 21, 22?
$20 for Brunson, which
well done.
That feels good. And so Alex Barutha. So maybe his little strategy here of getting money off the board is paying off now, because he got Brunson at a really nice price. Yeah, Brunson feels more like a 25 to 30 for me. So good price. Kevin Durant, so another first rounder. Let's see what he goes for. He's 50. I don't know, 45, 50. I'd sort of have him in the same bucket as a Steph Curry, that sort of range. This is really what this is. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the prices here. Edwards for 45, Jaren Jackson for 41, Steph Curry for 48, Tatum for 49. Lillard for 37 is looking like a really nice bargain at the start of the draft there.
Yeah, I think so. And I think some of this, it all just depends on timing. I mean, if Lillard was going now, not sure exactly what he would go for. But yeah, at the very beginning with some of that risk baked in, man, that was pretty sweet.
So Durant is up to 46. He goes for 46. Okay, so that's based on what we're seeing. I had him in that Steph Curry range, he went for 48. Durant for 46. So that feels about right. DeAndre Ayton on the board now. He's not someone I'm interested in at all this season, but I don't know, I'd think maybe $15. Wouldn't go much more than that.
I'll go for 10, and if he goes higher than that, I'm out. I have no interest in this guy. He looks like he doesn't care one bit to be out there playing basketball. He's cashing the check and fighting with the coach, and that's about the end of it. Yeah,
look, and I mean, Josh Lloyd talks about it a lot. The concern is that Phoenix have got Bradley Beal there now, Durant, Booker. He's sort of the odd man out, so it does feel like he'll be that fourth wheel, and I don't know, he'll struggle to get more than about 13, 14 points, I think. And that's if he's engaged. We've seen him disengage on multiple occasions.
That's right. I'd much rather go later in a draft and an auction or redraft and grab somebody like a Josh Okogie or Yuta Watanabe or one of these other guys that may have a significant role. Somebody's got to be that fifth starter, right? So we're not sure who that will be quite yet, but they'll be cheap if we want to get a dart throw in there instead of wasting draft capital or money on somebody like an Ayton.
Yeah. So Jaden Ivey went for $3.
Hey,
I'd be okay with that, I think.
That feels good source of.
So who got him? Just having a look at the team build here with
who did get
Ivy. There we go. Okay, so Savion got him. Okay, so they've got Cade Cunningham, Ja Morant, Kevin Durant, and Jaden Ivey. So a few top end guys, and then a nice $3 pick. So you're in on this bidding here for Donovan Mitchell. You're in at $34. He feels like about a 40 for me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. First round guy last season. Not entirely sure how he follows that up this year, right? Career high scoring, 71-point game, but we'll see how he does.
So he goes off the board for $37. I like that price for him. I don't think he'll improve a lot this year. I don't think he can get much better, but that feels good. DeJounte Murray up next. Similar range, I would say, maybe sort of 30, 33. Alex Barutha is in on this one. Any interest from you on DeJounte Murray?
Nah, he's significantly below Donovan Mitchell to me, and not a whole lot of interest here. I think the fit alongside Trae Young is kind of weird, and we saw how that played out for both of them fantasy wise last season. So
he goes for $27. That feels good. I don't think that's, as you said, he's a little bit of a weird fit there. He's not going to do what he was doing in San Antonio, obviously, but that still feels pretty solid for a guy that can potentially lead the league in steals if things fall his way. A guy that he's coming off his best season by far, De'Aaron Fox, coming up now.
I thought this was Michael J at first.
Wrong Fox. Although on the topic of Michael J. Fox, we did have a lot of people comment in that last show, Michael J. Fox with movie references. So we do need to come up with a code word for today's show. So start racking your brain. I'm happy to link it into your T-shirt if we want to do that.
Oh, man, if you could have everybody comment, I don't know how family friendly this is, but if you want to have everybody comment eat shit pit, that would make my day.
Look, I'm okay. I think that's a pretty accepted word nowadays. I mean, God, take my kids to school, everyone's saying it. It's and if so, we'll go with that as the key word for today. If you would like to get an entry into the Locked On Fantasy Basketball FBI World Cup. Pop eat shit pit into the comments. Happy if you want to use asterisks and not actually write the word. I will accept that as well. Look, we'll give people 24 to 48 hours to go back and watch this for those that aren't watching it live, and drop it in the comments as well. And then an email will be sent out. We'll draw 10 people out randomly. You do need to be subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. I'm assuming most people are, but if you're not subscribed, someone has already commented with the poo emoji. I will accept that as well. Very creative. Let's go back and have a look at some players that have gone off. De'Aaron Fox. You picked up De'Aaron Fox for $23. I like that. That feels really nice.
Yeah, that felt like some good value right there, so I had to jump in on it.
And you're in on LaMelo Ball as well. He's up to $42 now. I'm pretty high on LaMelo this season. I'd probably have him as a $50 player. If Steph Curry's going for 48, I'd have him above Steph Curry. So he's sitting at 44 now. You seem to have bailed.
Yeah, I bailed. I wanted to see if I could snag him in that maybe early 40 range, but
Okay.
he's going to get bid up to close to 50, so I'm going to back out and see what else I can find.
So Karan is in on this. So Karan and G League All-Stars are the only two that don't have a player on their roster yet. So Karan is in at 45, but he let him go. So Anchorage 69ers gets it for 46. 46, I don't mind that. I'd be happy to get him there.
Sure.
All right. Third rookie off the board, if we're including Chet, Scoot Henderson. This will be an interesting one. Rookies always are, because you don't really have anything to base their value on. I think, and he's one of those guys. I think we talked about it. Or was it yesterday's show? It was on our show anyway. We talked about Scoot. He's probably going to struggle a little bit early in the season, but then could be top 50 down the stretch. So you're sort of paying overs a little bit to get that value potentially in the fantasy playoffs. You're in on this one at $11.
Yeah, I think he's got a clear top 100 type of floor. Maybe that's being a little generous. We know how rookies can struggle, but I think the upside is clearly there for a guy that should have been the number 2 pick, which I still think is asinine by Charlotte. But
I still think of him as the number 2 pick, even though he wasn't taken with the 2 pick. When I think of this year's draft, I think of Scoot as the second best player. So you got him there for $11, which I think that feels nice. You have gone 2 rookies on your team, Wembanyama and Scoot. Is that concerning at all? Given just there's a little bit of uncertainty with rookies.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was heavy on the rookies last season, and it blew up in my face. So it's absolutely a concern.
Anthony Davis is up now. Karan is getting in on this one as well, as are you. He's sitting at $39.40. He's probably a $50 player, I think. Yeah,
I mean, you might be able to get him a little cheaper because of the the injury risk, but I mean, This was a guy that was fantasy's top player for vast stretches of last season. He was,
he was phenomenal. Before he got some of those injuries. So we're up to 45. It's you and Karan.
Yeah.
Look like you're the only 2 left bidding. He's up to 46. Karan has his full $200 budget to play with.
Yeah, this is where he's going to start.
So I think even if you'd gone again, he probably would have continued bidding, because he had to get someone. G League All Stars is the only team now with no one on their roster. Haven't seen much from Mitch Casey in the last 15 minutes. He might have gone to make a coffee after spending the bulk of his money. Alex McLean has been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
has been pretty cool. Oh, there's Raf. He's popping up now, but so Walker Kessler is up now. He's a guy, speaking of hype, he's a guy who's getting hyped. $27. You're in this one with, there's a few of you.
I know Reclean likes him. I'll bid you up, sir. Let's see what we can do. I didn't think he would go up to 30. He's running out of cash. This is his guy, though, he said. He loves what I do love me some Walker Kessler Ranger, though, so I'm going to go ahead and bid one more dollar and see if that gets him out of the way.
Yep.
Oh, no, there he goes again.
Okay. So we're at 32 for Walker Kessler. We're at 33. Let's see if Reclean.
I don't think Reclean is going to do it here. I think he's going to let him go.
And he does.
We'll take him.
Okay.
We'll take
All right. So you're set for blocks. Let's get that clear. You have Wemby and Kessler. So nice little build going on though. You've got two, one elite point guard, one potentially elite point guard, two shot blocking, rebounding centers. Got to just fill out those forward positions. Sabonis. Okay. Sabonis going off the board now. So we wouldn't have him in that Curry range, LaMelo range, but I'd have him above like a DeJounte. Giannis, maybe slightly below Giannis, so maybe mid-30s.
I think that feels about right. Yeah. I mean, especially this was his best season last year. I mean, this is a guy that can he can lead the league in rebounding and then push to be one of the league leaders in assists too. So that is, quite a phenomenal type of skill set for fantasy hoop. He's like a Jokic Jr.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see maybe Şengün goes off the board soon. I'll be curious to see what he goes for. Sabonis is up to $32. Got a couple of people bidding. So this is about, I think, where I see him going. So we're getting close. So it doesn't feel like anyone's gone super high yet. Like I think Jokic went high. Because he went for 79. That felt too high. I think everyone else feels about right. Cunningham 39, maybe a bit high, but I like him so much that I wouldn't care. So Reclean got Domantas Sabonis for 35, so right on where I thought he would go. So that's sort of another sizable chunk gone from his budget. So he's up to, what was he at, 114? So he's at about 150 now as well. So we've got a few guys sitting around that $150 mark with only 3 or 4 players. So this is where we might start to see some nice value coming off the board. You have put up Trae Young.
Yeah.
At $10. He's going to go up from here. Is he someone that you think could have a bit of a bounce? I don't know if you'd call it a bounce back. I feel like he was a little bit of a letdown last season alongside DeJounte, but still elite source of assists. For me, I'd like to see him hit more threes. I had him on a couple of my squads, and he didn't hit as many threes as I would have liked.
I mean, you know what you're getting with Trae, right? You're getting a huge amount of points, huge amount of assists. Last year, he really just killed you with. I mean, he's just a perfect example of one category dragging you down with the the regression in his efficiency. But otherwise, he did exactly what you thought he would do.
And he went for $36. So I think that's a decent price for Trae Young.
Sure.
You nominated him, yet you didn't bid. So that's one of those instances where you're just looking to get a high-end guy off the board, drag some money out?
That's exactly right. And I was curious to see, kind of how people were viewing Trae Young.
Yep. Kyrie Irving up next. Similar, I think. I think far more upside than Trae Young, but probably looking at mid-30s to 40 when we get there?
I think that feels right, and I think with Kyrie, he may be somebody that people are overlooking just because of the flat Earth and YouTube videos and all this other goofy stuff that the way he signs off his on his Twitter and all this stuff that he does. People might be overlooking the fact that he's a 50, 40, 90 risk every year. He's got that high floor of just being uber efficient player who scores, who assists, who gets steals, who hits threes. As long as he's available, man, he's a first round stud.
He is. He was first round last year from memory. Let me just bring up his.
If not, he was close.
Per game. Yeah, per game.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Where are we? I'm looking at the wrong things, but I've got wrong settings. But yeah, I'm sure he was a first rounder in per game. So I'm not too concerned about him playing alongside Luka for a full season.
Not at all.
He is who he is. Rudy Gobert. Now he's a guy that people probably are. I mean, we try not to talk about do not draft lists, but I'm sure he is on that list for those that do have do not draft lists after last season. You've got a bid in here for $9. I feel like he's got to be better than last year. I don't think he can be worse.
Yeah, I don't know that he can be worse, especially with the blocks. The blocks were, if I recall, the worst since his rookie season. In his rookie season, he played fewer than 20 minutes. So, I mean, really, really poor with the blocks. Rebounds and points, also 4 or 5 year lows for him. Again, another instance of a fit alongside a teammate, him and Karl Anthony Towns. And Towns was out for a good part of the season, and Gobert still kind of stunk it up relative to where he was drafted. So
he
I don't
goes
see any room for improvement.
Yeah, he goes for $17, which I think is okay. He's sort of getting that we've seen a few players like Austin Reeves and Anthony Edwards getting the bump from FIBA World Cup. Gobert sort of got the opposite. So I don't know what the opposite of a bump is, but France were terrible. He was terrible. So I think people that did watch that just he's done. He's over the hill. He can't play anymore. So he is someone that I think is going to be available 60s, 70s in some spots in snake drafts, and getting him for $17 here I think is fine. We did have Jalen Duren go off the board at 15. So there's, I guess, an example of where people view Gobert, very similar to Jalen Duren. And 12 months ago, there's no way that would be the case. So,
how the mighty have fallen, man.
All right. Pascal Siakam up now. So some recap on rosters. You're sitting at the same 4 players: Fox, Scoot Henderson, Wembanyama, and Kessler. Still haven't seen much from Mitch Casey. Hopefully he's still in the draft room. He might have taken the dog for a walk. So a few of those guys that bid early have been quiet. Karan has still only got 1 player, Anthony Davis. G League All-Stars just picked up Gobert as their first player. Siakam went to Alex Barutha for $31. I feel like that's pretty good. He got Brunson for $20 as well. I think both of them are nice value picks.
Absolutely, man. And this is the part of the draft where you start really running into all those values for guys that were patient. So, and then you can kind of assess and say, hey, was it worth it? Or should I have gotten, Jokic and Halliburton at the same time? I don't know.
Oh yeah, Mitch is there. He's just commented. So good to know that you're still in the draft room. He's just biding his time. He's biding his time, but it's because he's got no money left.
Right. And plus he was walking the dog, drinking his coffee.
He was walking the dog, that's right.
Yeah.
So we had, after Pascal Siakam, CJ McCollum went for $5. Devin Booker is now on the board. Look, CJ is sort of past his best, obviously, but I think $5 is okay. He's going to start. He's going to play good minutes as long as he's healthy. He'll get you close to 20 points a game, handful of assists. So I think for $5, he's a nice pickup. I'm just looking at who added him. Okay, so Samuel TC grabbed him to pair with Curry as his starting guards. So that's okay. Devin Booker. All right. Devin Booker for 35. That feels nice.
Yeah, that doesn't feel too bad. Are you worried about him with alongside Beal this year with him and KD in the mix?
I'm not really. I think common sense would have him handling the ball a lot. I think Beal will handle the ball as well as Durant. They can all do it. For me, I think it's Beal that takes the bigger hit. I think Booker is still the face of the franchise. So I still think that he can be probably top 20, borderline top 15. So no, I think I'm not too worried. Maybe his scoring takes a slight hit, but he's relatively efficient for a guard as well. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about Booker. Looks like you're getting in on some bidding here. We're on James Harden at $28.
Yeah, that's where I bow out.
Okay, so he went for $28. So is that you're just a little bit concerned about the whole trade sort of, is he going to play, isn't he going to play question?
Yeah, I think that's got to be a big concern. I mean, because if you told me right now he's playing and, he'll give you 60 games, then, yeah, he's a top 15 guy, top 20 at worst. I mean, he led the league in assists last season.
That's right. I think we saw much earlier for anyone just jumping in. Damian Lillard went for $37, which I think is below value. Harden went for 28, which is below value. So people are hesitant given the uncertainty about their immediate future. So a bit of value there if you're prepared to take some risk. Miles Turner is up now, sitting at $27, which I think he went for 27. I think that's all right. I don't know, these guys like Jaren Jackson, who are not one-cat wonders, but their value relies a lot on blocks. Sometimes they're overvalued, but look, if you need some blocks, Anchorage 69ers had no shot blockers, so getting someone like a Turner straight away makes you at least competitive in that category. Karl Anthony Towns. What are your thoughts on him this season? Is he? I mean, I don't think he's not going to get back to a first round guy like he was for a couple of seasons there. But if he's healthy, I think there's some value in Towns this season.
Yeah, there's absolutely some value in Towns here, and so I'm going to throw a little bit of money in on him just because I think he'll be undervalued. We look at the scoring, the 3-pointers. The defensive numbers were way down. So there was a lot of things working against him last season. But when he was available, I mean, you're still getting a guy that can rebound, that can block shots, that can hit threes at an elite level. And as we mentioned earlier, Rudy Gobert is, over the hill at this point, past his prime. So I think you can get a bit of value here on Towns. But as I speak, he's getting So
you're bidding. Yeah, you're in a bit of a bidding war here. He's up to 33 and he goes for 33. So,
RIP.
Yeah, look, I think where you sort of came in on the bidding there, high 20s is nice. Once you get closer to that mid 30s, I think you're sort of taking away some of that value. Evan Mobley up now. You're in on this one. It's very early. He's going to go for a lot more than $5. A nice season, I think, coming up for Mobley. I think everyone was pretty high on him last season, and then Donovan Mitchell came in and sort of cut his grass a little bit, at least on the offensive end. But I think this is probably the season where he steps up both ends of the floor. Jared Allen, I think, is who he is right now. Like, I don't think there's a lot of room for Jarrett Allen to improve, whereas I do think there is a lot of room for Mobley.
Yeah, I think we could see a huge jump from Mobley this season. Him and Scotty Barnes are the two guys from that draft class that I'm really expecting some big things from.
Yep. So what's he at? So he's at 26. You're in on this bidding with the. So it's what have we got? Asdva is bidding with you. The two of you were also bidding on Karl Anthony Towns. So let's see who wins this one out. You're up to 27. So are you prepared to go higher on Mobley? Oh, it didn't matter. 27. I like that. You're happy with $27 for him?
I'm very happy with that. Yeah, I think he can give me plenty of value at that price. Absolutely.
Another really strong shot blocker as well.
Yeah.
So safe to say you're probably winning the blocks category at the moment with Mobley, Wembanyama, and Walker Kessler.
I would hope so. That and rebounds. Just need to figure out a way to get some a little more scoring here on my team. So that's going to be something that I'm conscious of.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got Bam here. Based on what you've got and what you need, I'm assuming you're not getting in on the Bam Adebayo bidding.
No, sir. You are correct.
And he is up to $25. So what did? Let me just have a look. So Siakam went for 31. I feel like he's sort of in that Siakam range, high 20s. 26. Okay, 26 feels nice. You're nominating now.
Let's see if I can get some points here with the finisher.
Okay. He's coming off a relatively strong World Cup as well. The team weren't great, but he was pretty good. Okay, so he's there's a few people in on Markkanen. Do you think he improved from last season, or are we sort of just expecting this is it for him? Like what he did last year is sort of his peak, but he can do it for a few years.
I think it's probably closer to, this is his peak. I'm not sure how much higher he can go. And I'm not entirely sure, what ends up happening now with John Collins in the mix. I don't think that hurts him too awful bad as a scorer. But again, at some point, Utah is going to have to rely on somebody other than, Lowry Markkanen.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that's all pretty fair. So Alex Barutha back in on some bidding, gets Markkanen for 27. You were out at 23. 27 still feels okay, though. I think points, rebounds, not much defensive stats, but nice efficiency, threes. So gives you a bit of everything. I don't mind him for 27 for Alex there. He's another nice value pick. Jimmy Butler with his infamous headshot with the dreads. Coming up now. I personally, I'm not interested in Jimmy Butler this year. That's more just a personal choice, more than having a reason. I know he was he was very good last year in the playoffs, but we hear all the playoff Jimmy stuff, and regular season is what counts for fantasy, not playoff basketball. So, are you sort of targeting him at all? I mean, I guess if he fell far enough in a snake draft, I'd take him, but he's sitting at $30 here.
Yeah, if he fell far enough, yes, that's totally fine. But he's not a guy that gets my blood boiling by any means. Even after watching him, play tennis or dunk on people at camp, I'm not really, I'm not into it.
So he goes for 31. His teammate, his current teammate, Tyler Hero, is up next. Another guy that doesn't really excite me too much. I know he's a decent scorer, but doesn't do a lot else. Okay rebound numbers from the guard position, but he's not someone I'm really targeting this year. You're in on $9 for him, and you are chasing points. So
I'm not super interested in him. Oh, damn it, Barutha! Come on, man. I mean, really, give me my guy for $9. I can get 20 points a game out of Tyler Hero for $9. That feels great to me. So as long as Barutha doesn't come around and screw it up for me here.
And he does not. So, yeah, look,
We'll take
nice get there. Yeah, 20 points a game. And that's sort of what you need to be shoring up here because your only guaranteed points guy at the moment is De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Scoot Henderson at some point, yes, but maybe not initially. Wembanyama at some point, yes, but probably not.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not even this season. Here we go. Now we're at the opposite end. Bojan Bogdanovic, someone who I've seen go undrafted in a lot of standard leagues. He's on the board. $3. Is that an overpay? Is $3 an overpay for Bojan Bogdanovic?
I mean, I don't know, man. Uncle Bogey went for 21 points last year. So, I mean, if you're chasing points like me, what's he going to do at worst this year? 15 a game? I mean, that's still $3 is $3. I don't think that's too bad.
No, and I'm just having a look at who got him. Yeah, okay. So $3. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
It is what it is at this point.
It is. Our enthusiasm is
it's waning for sure.
Yeah. Well, So we've got where are we at? Zach LaVine is at $18. You were in at 16. So I guess looking for some points still here.
Absolutely, man. And plus, he's got a great name too, so that kind of factors in. But yeah, I'll throw one more bid. What the hell? I'll get in on him for $21 and get some points here. Shore up this last flex position. I mean, for 20 points, to me, he's got a top 50 ceiling. And I think people forget that even after that, quote unquote down year last year, he was still a really awesome fantasy player for good stretches of the season.
He was. And despite them coming out at the start of the season and saying he's got a knee injury, we're going to manage him, he basically played every game. So hopefully he can do that again. So you did get Zach LaVine for $21, which that feels pretty good. You have now got so that's what's left. Okay, so you've got $42 left. You've basically filled out your starting roster. So we've got 8 active roster spots and 6 bench. So 1 active roster spot, and then you need to leave. You obviously need to leave $6 because minimum bid is $1. Fred VanVleet goes for 28. That feels all right to me, I think.
Yeah, that feels fine as long as you can handle the poor field goal percentage. I think that's great.
Cool.
Russell
Westbrook. So we've still got just some names we've got left on the board here. So we've still got Darius Garland, Porzingis, LeBron James, Paul George, Desmond Bain, Kawhi Leonard, Jaylen Brown. Şengün is still on the board, hasn't come off yet. Jordan Poole, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Banchero. So still a lot of names left on the board, despite being, I don't know how many picks we are in, but there is still a lot of talent on the board. So we had Westbrook go for, where are we? $3 to you, good sir.
To me, they have nobody at point guard this year, so I will for $3. That's essentially a gimme, dude. I'll throw him on my team, and I know what I'm going to get. Again, I'll get some points, I'll get some assists, I'll get some rebounds.
All right, so here's the guy that I am interested to see, and I had a feeling you would bid for him, and that is potential scoring leader this season, Jordan Poole.
Yes.
That was your hot take on our show earlier in the week, that he would lead the league in scoring. Are you sticking by that?
Yeah, I would love to see it. I think he's got a real shot on this terrible team, team that I will be going to see with my kids a few times this year. So I am excited to welcome the pool party to DC, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So you did get him for $25, and your roster actually by far is the most full.
Yep.
So you have 9 players on your roster. We have one team with 6. So no one's even close, really. We've got G League All Stars still only has Rudy Gobert, so still only one player. So he's really playing the waiting game. As is Karan. Mitch Casey still having a snooze. Ben Simmons. Right. Someone I'm pretty high on this season. Mitch Casey has awoken $8. Are you thinking that he can do anything this season, or is it we have to wait and see?
I think I still think we have to wait to see. Can he do it? Absolutely. When we saw him, at his peak in Philadelphia, absolutely he could do it. But I think it's just there's been so much time between that Ben Simmons and this Ben Simmons that we don't know what the current iteration is going to be. So I think that's baked into his price or his draft capital in redraft leagues. Yeah,
agreed. Ben Simmons, so he did go off the board for $9, which I think I'm okay at $9.
Yeah.
And who got him? Where are we? Anchorage 69. Interesting fit. Yeah. Anyway, I like him. We've all seen the videos. You got to buy into the hype. Paul George now at $9. I think people are sleeping on him a little bit this season. Just he seems to have just been injured the last few years.
Yeah.
But still really good when he's on the court. I think he's probably a 30 in a sort of a perfect world. We're later in the draft now, so he's probably going to go at a bit of a discount, but I think he's probably $33 in terms of value.
I think that sounds about right if you told me he was healthy, but just based on what we've seen from him, I'm not paying anywhere near. I'm actually just out on him. He's on my do not draft list.
Yeah, I think I'd get him if we were in a redraft. I'd probably take him in the late third, maybe. But again, I don't know. I might not. Fourth round, yes. Third round, not sure. He went for $25, so I think that's fine. I think with the risk, I'm happy with $25. Cam Johnson, one of the guys I'm very high on this season. He's up now. Yeah. He's up to $10.
I love Cam Johnson, man. I think he's somebody that we've seen go very cheap in redraft right now, and I think that's going to be the same here in this auction draft. Or maybe we have a lot of like minds here, and they're going to just continue to bid each other up. But this guy has top 75, easy value written all over him, and you can get him closer to pick 100 in redraft.
Yeah, well, I think he was 54th from memory last season. I know I've looked at his numbers so much that I think he was. So I think he went for $14 to Alex Barutha, another nice value pick for Alex there. So are you, as I said, you filled your active roster. You've just got a few bench spots left. Are you in a bit of a let's just sit and wait now, or are you still going to actively bid on some guys?
Yeah, I only have $14 left, so the most I can bid on any one player right now is going to be $10?
Yeah.
So that's the best I can do. I'm going to have to sit and wait, and so obviously I'm out on somebody like a Garland. And I did not practice what I preached, despite being patient at the beginning. I went balls deep there in the middle, man, and it just
you did, but I think you did, but I think you waited long enough that you were able to get some value. So you didn't go too early. Like Mobley, I think for 27 is nice. Levine for 21. Jordan Poole for 25. Fox for 23. I think they're all good value picks. So
yeah, little disappointed maybe. I think I may have overpaid for Kessler, but that's okay.
I think so, but let's blame Alex Reclean for that one.
I think so. That's the easy answer. Just blame McLean.
All right. So we had, so Garland was there. He went for 27.
Oh, that's great.
Alex Barutha again.
I
He's
love
building a
that
nice
pick.
little team there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He's no shot blockers yet, so it'll be interesting to see if he goes after someone like a Dan Gafford or a Mark Williams here as a cheap shot blocking option. Porzingis is up now. We've got Raf is back bidding.
There you go. He had to go out and walk the goldfish, and now he's back.
He did. So we're up to 23 for Porzingis. Are we down on him a little bit in Boston?
Yeah, we're down on him a little bit in Boston. Had a little bit of an injury here over the summer. Not sure what extent that is, but anytime you hear that from a guy that's, described as, often injured, then it kind of raises your haunches a little bit. So, yeah. And then he's also got to compete with Big Bob Williams and Al Horford, and Jason Tatum.
Did he go? Where are we? Porzingis. So he went for 24. Look, 24 is fine. We are down on him a little bit, but he was, top 15 last season? So he could very easily be a third-round player. And if you look at some other guys who went around that price, Markkanen for 27, Holmgren for 22. Who else have we got? Paul George for 25. I think I'd rather Porzingis over those guys. Porzingis or Holmgren? Who would you rather?
I'd rather have Holmgren.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's always, and maybe this is just my way of kind of rationalizing, but I think for me, I like the unknown upside of a guy like Chet Holmgren more than I like the known upside of Porzingis, but maybe with a little bit of that injury risk baked into it. I think it's more exciting to have Holmgren on my team than it is to have KP.
Yeah. Yeah, and fantasy is all about fun after all. So we had LeBron go off the board there for $23. So interesting. Right. Yeah, I think it feels okay, but just having a look at the build for Karan here, he's gone Paul George, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. So three guys that could miss time, could be really good if they all play 65 games. So a bit of a risk-reward team there. Chris Middleton, who I actually got in a mock draft we did yesterday, and I got Chris Middleton at 90 something.
Oh my God.
It was a mock on Yahoo. So, I mean, not everyone's taking it super serious, but look, so Middleton here for $17. That feels pretty good.
Oscar Thompson for $3. Like the upside there too. I was tempted.
Yep, $3. So we're going. There's another rookie comes off the board. Still a few rookies floating around, but I don't know how many of them will actually be drafted.
Right.
Scotty Barnes. He's an interesting one because we were pretty high on him last year, and he let a lot of people down. So I think there's probably some hesitation when looking at him this season. Alex Barutha is in on him for $14.
Oh, I wish I could get him there.
That feels good.
That's robbery, dude. That's grand theft right there. That is filthy.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, a little bit of probably a few people down, but for 14, wow. That's DeAndre Ayton went for 12.
Yeah. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum there on Scotty Barnes. I think with Van Vliet gone, I think we can see him evolve more as a passer. And I think that just adds another dimension to his game. And we've seen Point Scotty. We saw it last year, the upside that he can have. So I think he's in for his best season, him and Mobley.
So here's Şengün. I was curious to see where he goes, how much he goes for. So he's sitting at $10. Would you pay more for him than you would for like a DeAndre Ayton? I would.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would go up to 25 for Şengün. I think the upside of a passing big man just to me has my heart in fantasy. So I think, I'd go all the way up to 25, and he might get there too. He's sitting at 20 right now.
Yeah, I I thought Alex was going to get him there for 17, but he goes for 19 to G League All
Good
Stars.
pick.
So G League All Stars now has 3 players: Porzingis, Gobert, Şengün. So probably needs to target some guards, given he has
I would say
0 assists. Well, no, he's got Şengün. Sorry, so he has got some assists. The rosters are starting to fill out for a lot of people now, except for Mitch, who's still waiting.
Oh, the dog had to go back out.
RJ Barrett goes for $1 to Alex Rakim.
Hey.
All right. Kawhi Leonard. All right, here we go. Kawhi Leonard. So Paul George went for 25. I'd certainly pay more for Kawhi than I would for Paul George, but he is going to be available at a bit of a discount given he's coming off a torn meniscus.
Right. I think this is great for Kawhi this year to target him. You can probably get him in the 4th round in fantasy drafts, and if you're risk averse, obviously, not for you. But if you can handle a little bit of that risk, 4th round feels like a sweet spot for him.
Well, obviously, Karan is not too concerned with risk because he has added Kawhi Leonard to Paul George, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis.
Oh, Karan, what's up, man?
He is going full risk with his build. And why not? If you're so far down that path, why not just hunt value and get some guys that might only play 12 games? He might dominate for a week.
Right.
Another hype sort of poppy guy from last season, Jalen Williams from the Thunder, up to $12. Yeah, there's some comments coming on around Karan's team, the hospital wing. So we've got Jalen Williams. Jay, what are your thoughts on him, on Jalen this year? Obviously, he was really good down the stretch last year, and his steal numbers inflated his overall value pretty substantially. You still think he's top 50, top 60?
Top 75 feels a little bit better.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what kind of role he plays with Chet in the mix. I think Chet's going to be a fairly high touch type of guy, or so maybe take away a little bit of that from Williams. But the steal numbers, as you mentioned, kind of inflated his value. But the steal numbers, I don't see that regressing too much. So if you're looking for steals and a guy that's not going to hurt you too much elsewhere, I think he can be your guy. Top 75 feels better.
Yeah. So he went for 15, and I think 15 is fine.
Sure.
Around that range. Emmanuel Quickly is up. Some bidding, not very much bidding, but it looks like he's going to go for $4 to Raf. So Raf trying to target some of these lower end guys now, fill out his roster a bit. We will see. So you're still sitting on your 9 players. A lot of these guys coming off the board now are just out of your price range, really.
Yeah. Yep, just got to sit back and watch.
Jamal Murray. But, I mean, sit back and watch and just see people throw that money out the door. So having a look at your roster there, what are you sort of looking at to get with these last few picks? Any specific categories that you think you might be a little bit deficient in?
Yeah, I think right now I'm just going to look for best available. I think I did my best here with Poole and Hero and Levine as well, to try to address the points and threes that I was lacking early in my draft. At this point, I think I'm just going to look for best available. Maybe I could go for some more assists here if I can find somebody, but those are a little bit tougher to find. So
Jamal Murray goes for $21. I think that's pretty good.
Sure.
He was really strong last season. Took him a month, 6 weeks to get going, coming off that ACL injury. But once he was rolling, and we saw in the playoffs as well, he was awesome. I mean, he wasn't MVP given you with Jokic there, but he was pretty close to being MVP, I think, for them during the playoffs, for stretches anyway.
Absolutely.
So we've got Nikola Vucevic now. He's up to $18. I think I wouldn't want to go much higher than that for him. I don't think.
I probably wouldn't either. But I mean, here's a guy that is pretty consistently a top 30 option in fantasy. He's boring. He's no flash, no hype, no Raz. But man, this guy is as consistent as they come, man.
So he goes for 20, and you're up now. Your nomination.
Oh boy. Who do I want to go for here? Goodness. Let's go for here's a guy we talked about the other day. Probably out of my price range, but let's see, the reigning rookie of the year.
Okay, so definitely out of your price range, I would say.
Yeah.
We'll see. He's up to $5, $6.
There we go. There we go.
He's getting up towards that $10 range now,
Yeah.
which I think if he goes anywhere here, it's great value. You could get in at 10. No, there goes Raf at 10. So
Yeah. Damn it, Raf. Which I say that so often, Raf. Come on, man.
11.
Oh my gosh, $11. If somebody snags him for 11, this is why you wait till the end of the draft. You get deals like this.
Yeah. But to have the money left to do this, as we've seen, you need to have not gone hard early. So there is a bit of a trade-off. So Raf's got him for 14 at the moment. I still think that's pretty good value.
I think that's phenomenal value, man. That's great. Way to go, Raf.
So his roster is basically full now. Okay, so here goes Claxton. I was going to say I'm interested to see if Alex goes in here because Alex Barutha still has no shot blockers. He did bid initially, but doesn't look like he's in anymore. So he might be going to wait for someone like a Gafford or a Mark Williams who will go a little bit cheaper. No, he's back in at 15. Out of your price range again.
No. Standing by. $20 for Claxton.
It's actually more than I thought he would go for. He's been falling in snake drafts. He's up to $20 here. Would you pay? So you paid $33 for Kessler, which you've admitted was probably an overpay.
It was an overpay.
Would you prefer Kessler over Claxton still?
I think for 22 compared to 33 to have that extra $10 flexibility here, I should not have. And I shouldn't have gone in on Westbrook either for $3. He's a $1 player. A little silly on me there.
So Claxton did go for 21, which is, I think it's a fine price. It's probably, as I said, a little higher than I thought he would go for, just based on where he normally goes in drafts. D'Angelo Russell sitting at $4.
Yeah, do you think he's falling? Claxton is falling in drafts because of Harry Giles signing with the Nets? Is that what's driving him down?
Feels unlikely. Again, he does look good in those workout videos.
Right.
But no, I'm not too concerned about him coming for Claxton's minutes. So D'Angelo Russell went for $6. Devin Vassell. Here we go. Another one of my guys who I'm pretty high on this season, going late. So potentially he goes at nice value here. If you were bidding, if you had money, how high would you go on someone like Vassell?
$12 to $15 range to me feels pretty good in terms of, I guess, ceiling and potential upside. I think he could blow past that for sure, but that feels about right.
Okay, so he's sitting at $14. 15. So we wouldn't gonna go. much higher than that. Looks like he's going to go. He does. He goes for $15. I think that's about right. I think he could be a little bit better than that, but we do have that worry that the Spurs may shut things down at the back end of the season again. Another Raptor here with Van Fleet, who I think could step things up a little bit. OG Anunoby led the league in steals last year, I think, or close to it. Sitting at $11. Are we pretty high on him? I sort of view him as a top 40, pretty solid top 40 player this season.
Top 40 with a top 20 upside, especially with Van Vliet gone. I really like these Raptors this year. I like Anunoby. I like Scotty Barnes. I like Gary Trent because they got rid of Van Vliet, who was a high usage, high assist, high points guy, and they replaced him with Dennis Schroeder, who is best known for his receding hairline and jumping Dirk at the World Cup. So
he's going for, so he's at 19. So I think he's going to go here for $19.
Man, I should have been patient, man. That's a wonderful price.
That's nice value there. Both he and Scotty Barnes went for a nice price there. So G League All-Stars, who didn't have many on his roster for quite a while, is starting to fill his out, and he's picked up Jamal Murray for 21, Anunoby for 19, Şengün for 19. So three nice picks there, I think.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I have the regret right here, the buyer's remorse, man. Wemby and Kessler for 65, and he got those three players for 63. Similar.
Yeah.
Which would you rather have, those three or my two? Because I'm kind of eyeing his three at this point.
He might be open to some trades. So we've got Trey Murphy. He's an interesting one. Really good last year. Finished inside the top 50 per game. He goes for $8.
Like that.
That feels nice. I mean, Zion he's back at least initially. So I don't think. Do you think Trey Murphy starts, or do you think they stick with Herb?
That's a good question. I keep hearing, I've heard that Trey Murphy may be on the radar for Sixth Man of the Year this year, which I think is, I think that would be totally reasonable for him to finish there. I don't know which direction they go. I think, I don't know. I can't speculate. What are you thinking?
I think they go with Herb. If they're healthy, because I think they've got Zion who can score. They've got McCollum who is okay. They've got Ingram who can score. Murphy, I think bringing him off the bench gives them more offensive upside off the bench, and you don't necessarily need Herb Jones to come in and score 15 because he's surrounded by guys that can score. And I think Herb is still the preferred defender. So I think if they're healthy, it's Herb. But if Zion went down, for example, they might try to get a little bit more scoring in that starting lineup. Mark Williams just went off the board for $13. Mitch was bidding there. Alex Barutha was bidding. So these guys starting to come back in. 13 for Mark Williams. I mean, he's going to start. We think he's going to play 30. That feels like a good price to me for him.
Yeah, I like him there. Double threat with some big-time blocks.
Desmond Bain. I know Alex Barutha is high on him. So we'll see how hard he goes. He's up to 22.
Let's
top 20 guy, do you think, over the first 2 months?
He can get there, man. I mean, he can get to top 12, I think. With Ja Morant being out, I think it'll be very interesting.
So he goes for 28. I think that feels about right. I think he top 20, top 15 potentially over the first 2 months. Probably scales back to be more like a third rounder. down the stretch. So you're probably looking at a back end second round, early third for the season. I think $28 is a good price for him. DeMar DeRozan. Josh Giddey's still on the board. I'm curious to see what he goes for. Who else have we got sitting there? Kyle Kuzma, Onyeka Okongwu, Miles Bridges, Markel Fultz.
Your boy, Markel.
Yep.
Where would you feel comfortable taking him?
Look, based on what we're sort of seeing here, if I could get him under $10, I'd like that. Sort of looking at it, like D'Angelo Russell went for 6, Trey Murphy went for 8. I'd have him down in that range. Ben Simmons went for 9. Yeah, look, I would think 10, 12 I'd be happy with. Depends who's in the draft. So DeMar DeRozan goes for $18. I'm okay with that. I'm not taking him anywhere. He's just boring to me. But that's just personal sort of, I like to have exciting upside on my team.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's tough to get those guys, but that's why they fall, man. I think him and Vooch and Levine are all kind of in that 4th to 5th round space in redraft, and all of them will probably finish with that same value or exceed by just a little bit. It's very consistent, especially DeRozan. He's so damn durable, man. If you're looking for totals, he's your guy.
So Jalen Green sitting on the board, having a look at the rosters. We've still got Mitch Casey with his 3 players that he took in about the first 3 minutes. No one else. So he's gonna get some nice value here at the back end of the draft. You're still biding your time, waiting for some of these cheaper players. Jalen Green goes for $9 to Raf. Was he someone you were potentially interested in at that price? You could have afforded him.
Nah, no interest. He's a scorer only, which again I addressed that already. I don't necessarily need his scoring, and Houston brought in a bunch of guys in this offseason, especially. Yeah. So no thanks.
Bradley Beal. So you asked earlier about Booker and if we were sort of concerned about his production with Beal there. What do we see for Beal this year? He was top 50 last season. Wasn't great. Do you have him in that range again?
He'll probably take a step back from there, but he's not going to fall outside the top 70, 75. What I liked about him last year, if I remember correctly, highest efficiency of his career. So again, if we're playing in a 9-cat league, that greatly helps a guy that is not a 30-point per game scorer anymore in Washington, and especially now in Phoenix.
So he went for $18. DeRozan went for 18, I think, a couple of picks earlier. Who would you rather there, Bradley Beal or DeMar DeRozan?
I'll take DeRozan all day in that spot.
Okay. Drew Holiday up next. So speaking of guys with very little upside but very consistent, much like a DeMar DeRozan. Look, I think if we can get him, I'd rather him over DeMar DeRozan. Drew Holiday, is that in line with what you think as well? I just think he does a little bit more.
He does a little bit more. I think they're close. But yeah, he does a little bit more. So probably lean Drew there. Hell, remember Drew's 51-point game last season? You put that up against DeRozan's back-to-back buzzer beaters. I don't know.
Yeah. So he's at $22 now. Looks like he's going to go, and he does. He goes for $22. I still think that's okay. You're up to nominate here.
Oh boy, who in the hell do I nominate that I can afford? Let's see if somebody will throw me a bone here. Maybe not.
Throw a Chris Paul out. Let's see.
Trying to, yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll go with Jaylen Brown.
Get some money off the board because you won't be able to afford him, obviously.
No.
He could be had at a nice value here though, because a lot of people don't have a ton of money left, and you'd probably put him in What are we sort of thinking for him? Top 40-ish.
Yeah, right in that range.
May 27. Yeah, so I think if you can get him for 20, that's probably nice value. Although this bidding is going up quite quickly.
Is there something ironic to be said about the low values placed on the NBA's highest paid player of all time, or what?
There is. There is. Oh, that's still a weird thing to say, isn't it?
It is. I mean, at one point it was Mike Conley, right? So who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's going to be Shea very soon, I think.
Yeah. $22. That's not bad if somebody could lock him in, or 21 right here.
Yeah, 21. Yep, I think, and he does. He goes for 21. So that's very good. Like if you look, Drew Holiday went for 22, DeMar DeRozan for 18. I'd rather Jaylen Brown over both those guys.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Miles Bridges. Let's see what people think about him this season. I feel like he's slowly creeping up in drafts. People are starting to get past all the off-court stuff, which obviously it happened. We can't disregard that. But in terms of fantasy, I think people are starting to take that real life hat off, put the hat off, and put the fantasy hat on. And you remember 2 seasons ago he was top 30. So
yes,
and he goes for $6 to Alex Barutha.
Who?
Yeah, that's
come on, Barutha.
That's a bargain.
He's a smart man, that Alex Barutha.
Yeah, I'm not sure who invited him.
I'm one of those guys from RotoWire, man. I can't stand them either. Come on.
Onyeka Okongwu, all right, another guy that I'm keen to see where he goes. He's sitting at 5. Oh, Mitch Casey. He's sprung to life. So interestingly, Alex Barutha still doesn't have any shot blockers. So Gafford, I think he's going to go. I'm just looking down the board here. He is bidding on Okongwu. But we've still got Daniel Gafford. We've still got Jared Allen, Brook Lopez, Jakob Poeltl. They're probably Clint Capella, Rob Williams, Mitch Robinson. So there's still a few shot blockers here floating around that you might be able to get for $10, $12. Mitch Casey, Onyeka Okongwu for $10. Do you like that?
I do. For $10, sure. Why not? I think we've talked about this before, man. His upside is capped with Okongwu still, or with Capella still there. But for $10, that's not a bad price at all for a guy that really can be a top 60 guy if he starts getting some serious minutes, or even higher. Yeah.
I think he's got his floors top 90. We saw that last season. Sadiq Bey goes for $1. Interesting nomination and bid. Maybe he's just a Sadiq Bey guy. Did he go? He went Bojan Bogdanovic as well. So we may, and so maybe he likes Bey because of when he used to play at Detroit. Julius Randle, $6. He's going up. So not many guys here in your price range. Miles Bridges. Were you tempted to go in on Miles Bridges at $6?
No, I'm waiting at this point. I'll throw out a $7, $8, $9, $10 bid for somebody, but I don't know. Bridges didn't feel like that guy. I still think that's great value though for him right there.
So Julius Randle goes for $11, which is nice value, I think.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Yep. $1 more than Okongwu?
Yep.
Wow.
Obviously doesn't get the defensive stuff that Okongwu does, but he's going to be a decent scorer. He'll hit threes, rebounds, get some assists from the forward spot. Tari Eason up on the board now. Mitch Casey in at $2.
Good pick.
and he won him for $2. What are you thinking? Like we've sort of touched on a few Rockets guys. Where do you see Eason fitting in this season?
I have no idea, and I'll be dead honest with you with these Rockets. I have no idea what the plan is for minutes here. I mean, we saw guys like Alperen Şengün benched for Bruno Fernando at the start of last season. So I have no idea. They brought in Dylan Brooks, they brought in Van Vliet, Landale. This roster is all over the damn place. Amen Thompson. I have no idea, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Sorry, man.
So we've got Josh Giddey on the board now, who another guy that I'm high on, sitting at 15. Ooh, no. Alex Barutha comes in very late at 16.
Oh.
We're clean, so we've got two Rotowire guys going head-to-head here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see Giddey as someone who could be a top 50 player this season?
I think so, man. I think a little bit of improvement on the defensive stats. And then I think he's there, right? I mean, we saw he took a big leap in efficiency from year 1 to year 2, as often happens. And the triple-double threat with those raw counting stats alone it's juicy. That's all you got to say, man. He's a triple-double threat every night. So, I love him. He can totally be a top 50 guy.
Yeah, and $17, I think that's a good price for him.
Sure.
Brandon Ingram at $11, probably top 40, similar to Giddey. I would think maybe he might go for sort of 15, but he is sitting at 12 here.
Another kind of boring guy in this range that he's going to do what he's going to do.
Seems to be injured a lot too. I feel like he's always got little niggles, things happening. He goes for 13, so maybe there is a bit of a discount there because of his injury history over the last 12, 24 months. Because I think 13, pure per game, I think I'd have him above Giddey slightly, but he went a little bit cheaper. So we'll have a look at who G League All-Stars is going to nominate here. So for anyone that has joined us late or is watching this, I do have 10 entries to give away for the World Cup. Today's keyword, courtesy of Zak's shirt, feel free to show that shirt again if you'd like to, is eat shit pit. So if you want to pop that into the comments, you can spell the word, you can use the asterisks, you can use the emoji as someone already has. So if you pop that in and subscribe, you will go in the draw to win an entry into the World Cup. Who have we got? Franz Wagner. I was pretty high on him last year, and I felt like he I don't know, he was good, then he was bad. He had a little injury. He was a little bit inconsistent, a little bit frustrating. So I'm not out on him this season, but I'd like to see him take his game to the next level. Is he someone you're interested in at all this season?
Not particularly. I mean, if he falls far enough, sure. But it's a crowded team in Orlando, and I'm kind of with you. It seemed like a letdown from him last season, even though he played really well just in real life. In fantasy, it was not spectacular. And he went for $1 more than Ingram here, which is, man, I'd much rather have Brandon Ingram, injury risk and all.
So he's one of those shot blockers I talked about, Brook Lopez. I feel like he can't be better than last season. It was one of the more outlier seasons that we've seen in quite some time. He goes for $9. $9 is all right, I think, to get those block numbers up. But I would rather... So Jared Allen is here next. I think I'd rather Jared Allen over Brook Lopez personally.
Yeah, I would too. And Brooklyn Nets all-time leading scorer, Brook Lopez, might I add. But, I mean, that was his best season since leaving Brooklyn. It's an outlier. It's not going to happen again. Yeah,
and Middleton, you have to remember Middleton was out for
exactly
a big chunk of the season, so they needed more on the offensive end from him. So we've got, Jared Allen. Alex, as I thought, is looking for some blocks. So he's bidding with Alex Reclean again, the two of them. Is Reclean looking for blocks? He is, yeah. So they're both hunting blocks.
Man, battle the Alexes today.
So $15 for Jared Allen. $16. What did you get, Mo? You got Mobley, didn't you?
Yeah, 27.
27? Yeah, okay. So you got him for 27. Alex Barutha gets Jared Allen for 16.
Oof. Man, Alex Barutha is showing why you wait till later in the draft and don't listen to me.
Yeah, so he has filled out that center spot now, and with a shot blocker, he may try to get someone else, another shot blocker. Jeremy Grant could have a good season. We're sort of waiting to see what happens with Damian Lillard. Not really someone I'm interested in. He just, again, he's not someone that excites me as a fantasy player. I don't know about you.
No, he doesn't excite me. I think we know what he's going to give you. I think the Blazers way overpaid for him this offseason. I still can't wrap my head around 5 years, $160 million, but
neither can he, probably.
Probably not, man.
So you're nominating Jeremy Grant did go to Alex Reclean for $7. And look, for $7, that's great. I mean,
oh yeah.
Like I said, I'm not high on him, but God, $7. That's a bargain.
Take that all day.
Javon Carter. All right. I should have seen that coming too, shouldn't I?
You should have, man, with all the West Virginia talk here, and I'll take him for that $1.
You're taking for $1. Okay. So there's one of your bench spots filled up. Let's go with Tobias Harris. This one is for Mitch. Yeah, Mitch Casey's favourite player, Tobias Harris. $5. God, speaking of boring players,
yeah, right.
Is Tobias Harris the captain of that team? I think for me he is.
Him or Brook Lopez, yeah.
He goes for $5.
$5
too much. Yeah. Look, I wouldn't. I mean, $5 is fine, but I wouldn't. I'd rather spend that money on someone with any amount of upside. Kyle Kuzma. Let's see what he goes for. This is interesting because we're quite late in the draft, so there isn't a lot of money, but I feel like he's someone that would go usually for sort of maybe 12 to 15.
Yeah.
And he goes for 5. So there's a nice bargain at the tail end of a draft as well. $5 for someone who could score 23 points a game and get you 8 rebounds.
Absolutely. And here's Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, all right.
6 Man of the Year candidate, Chris Paul, potentially.
Okay, a little bit more bidding than I thought there would be for Chris Paul, but $9 he's up to.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's not a bad price at all for the point guard.
No. Steals and assists. He's still, even if he does come off the bench, he's going to play significant minutes. So he's still going to get you 8 assists, 1.5 steals.
Yeah. I like that for $9, man. Is he somebody you're going to go after later in drafts if he's there, like around pick 100 or so?
Yeah, look, I think if he's sitting there, I'm pretty keen on a punt points build this season, and Chris Paul fits that perfectly. If he's sitting there at 90 and I need some assists, then I'll absolutely take him there. John Collins, touched on him earlier with Larry Markkinen and the impact that he might have. Collins goes for $5 to Alex Barutha. You high on Collins this season for as a bounce back?
And I'm especially high on him, if he falls in redraft and if he goes for $5 here. I mean, come on, this was a top 50 guy consistently for back-to-back seasons. I mean, he fell off last year, but change of scenery can do well for a guy. Barutha is the MVP of this draft so far, man. This is great.
So his former teammate Clint Capella He's coming off the board now, $7. Where did we go land with a Kongwu? He went for $10. Yeah, $10. Clint Capella is sitting at $8. Would you rather Capella or a Kongwu this season?
Depending on who can I get cheaper? That'll be the. I think it'll be Capella. I think people are hyping Okongwu up a little bit too much, so I'd rather Capella this season. I'd rather neither, but if I had to pick,
Okay, neither. So he's at 11. Looks like Mitch Casey. So Mitch Casey got him for 11. So Kongwu went for 10. Capella for 11. That's
don't like that.
Muchness, really. So, and at this point, Mitch is coincidentally, he's handcuffed both of them with each other. So
right. We forgot about this guy. Might be the captain of the boring squad. We forgot about him.
We did. Mitch Casey gets Al Horford for $2. I think he may be the captain. I think. Yeah, I think I'd have him as the captain. Come to think of it, and someone else might come off the board soon. Who have we got left that's still going to be drafted? We've got Tyrese Maxey, Jakob Poeltl, Terry Rozier. Fultz is still there. Jabari Smith, Michael Porter, Marcus Smart, Dan Gafford, Austin Reeves, Rob Williams, Keegan Murray, your favourite.
Oh, yes.
You might be able to land Keegan for $1, $2.
I'm gonna certainly try, man. I think people will bid him up a little bit, but I will try.
They might. We'll see. Maxi is up now, and we're at $12 for Maxi. If Harden goes, as we're assuming he will at some point, what do we see as Maxi's ceiling? Top 40?
I think that sounds about right. Top 40, top 35, maybe pushing the limits there. But yeah, no Harden and Maxey is going to thrive, and no Shake Milton either. I mean, so this is Maxey's backcourt.
And he goes for $17 to guess who? Alex Barutha.
Oh my God.
So that's good. I think if Harden does, if they somehow, if it ends up that he plays, this is probably about right for Maxey. But if Maxey sees an uptick at all, this is a bargain pick. Tyus Jones sitting at $7.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you got? You've got 4 spots left on your roster. Pretty much all of the starters have been filled now. We've got a couple of teams that have a few spots left. Mitch Casey just grabbed Tyus Jones for $8 to pair with Tyrese Halliburton in the backcourt. He's filled up his starting roster. Karan is just waiting for old players who have injury risks. So who's he waiting for? He might be waiting for Michael Porter.
Yeah.
Rob Williams. Rob Williams would be a perfect fit. Guy that's only going to play 30 games.
Don't be mentioning Rob Williams. That's the guy that I want next, man.
Right. And you will be up your nomination soon. Alex Barutha just landed Spencer Dinwiddie for $4, which that's good. I mean, I'm not that high on Dinwiddie, but I know he had a couple of crazy games down the stretch last year where he had double-digit assists.
Yeah, $4 is fine for him. Ooh, and here's another member of #Team Boring Squad, Jakob Poeltl. Where is the damn upside with this guy? My goodness.
Starting center for the all boring team, alongside Al Horford.
Yeah.
He's going for $9. I mean, his blocks give him some upside, or I guess some value over those guys like Horford or Tobias. At least Jakob is elite in one category. And he goes for $9 there, which I think is fine. He's going to be top 80, top 70 pretty consistently. He did look a lot better once he got to Toronto last season. So All right. Terry Rozier up next. I think people are down on him a bit. Would you agree?
I think people are definitely down on him. And I'm not entirely sure why. I guess it's because LaMelo is back and because Charlotte has kind of filled its roster out a little bit more than maybe what it's been over the last couple of seasons. But I don't know, man. This is a guy that has given us a pretty significant value in recent seasons. He's not going to just go away.
Yeah, so he goes for $7, which I think is good. I think you're up to nominate here. Look, Rozier is obviously he's not going to be as good with a healthy LaMelo, but we saw last season that his assist numbers went up a bit, but his efficiency came way down. So not sure your Rob Williams nomination is going to pay off, depending how much you want to spend for him. He's at $7. You can afford him.
I can, but I will not. I do really like him there, but I'm going to hold off there. I think he can be phenomenal, man. Late in the draft, he's not going to go away either. I think he sees minutes in the low to mid 20s, and that's plenty to get him really good value.
So Buddy Hield, someone that's falling as well a bit this season. Do you think he starts this year, or are they going to go with Mathurin?
No, I think Hield probably starts, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple bucks on Hield.
Yep.
Just the phenomenal 3-point value, right there with $4. I'm not trying to keep spending, but we talk about durability before, man. This is your guy. Buddy Hield does not miss games, man.
Reclean is just trying to get you back for taking Walker Kessler, so we'll get that out on the table.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Oh, come on now.
So Buddy Hield goes for $4. All right. I was just wondering where Dan Gafford was going to go. What do we think his ceiling is this year? Could he be top 60?
Oh, man, I think you're being a little too conservative, my friend. Okay. I think he can be top 50, maybe even push for top 40. He's going to be the starter. There's no KP there. Could we potentially see a double-double and 2 blocks a game? He has the per minute upside to do it. It's just nobody's ever given him the minutes to see if he could get there. So let's see if Washington decides to go all in on him.
A little bit of a bidding war going on, despite being late in the draft. We've got a few guys chasing him, and he's going for more than I thought he would. I think he's worth this. He's up to 16.
Yeah.
I think this is fine, but I thought someone might be able to land him for about 10, but he goes for 16 to G League All-Stars. Fultz is still there. I'm still waiting for my boy to come off the board. We'll see where he goes. Not many blocks left. Gary Trent is there. Maybe someone you've got a little sneaky eye on.
I do like Gary Trent, man. As I mentioned, this Raptors roster they've got nobody. They got rid of Van Vliet. They brought in Dennis Schroeder. So they've got nobody. I still feel like there's probably going to be some heavy minutes there, even with the coaching change.
So Aaron Gordon goes for $3 to Alex Reclean. Look, I think that's fine. A little bit like your Westbrook pick. It's okay, but it's not exciting.
Nah.
I don't even think I haven't seen him drafted everywhere, but solid, but not exciting. We'll see. There's more exciting players here. Draymond Green, another probably coming off the bench for the all boring team.
I'm trying to figure out who's the starting point guard for the all boring team. We filled out the rest of the roster.
Yeah, it might be like a Mike Conley.
Sounds about right.
I don't know who else is boring there. That's actually been drafted anyway. There's plenty of boring guards that don't get drafted, but so Draymond Green went for $5 to Alex Reclean. Again, very boring player, but for $5, he's a guy that's going to contribute across a few categories. He goes Fultz now. So what did I say? I said I'd like to get him for 10 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
He's up to 10.
Even if I had the funds, I wouldn't be going for him. I'm not nearly as high on him this year as you are.
No.
I think he's got plenty of upside. I think if everything goes right for him, yeah, he could be phenomenal. But he's had that since he went, number one in the draft how many years ago, and we've never seen that fully coalesce, I guess, in a season. So let's wait and see if that happens. And they brought in Anthony Black with a top 10 draft pick, so that concerns me as well.
Yeah, that annoyed me a little bit, and probably does temper my expectations slightly. But I still think he went for 10. Austin Reeves went for $8, which I think that's good value.
Yeah, that's fine. The man, the myth, the mural, dude. Yeah. Austin Reeves, summer darling.
Leading Team USA to a world championship.
Potentially Mitchell Robinson for $6. I'd much rather have Austin Reeves for $8 than Mitchell Robinson for. There's another guy on the all boring team. Good Lord.
Yeah, I think I would. So we are starting to get sort of most of the top 100 guys are gone now. So I think we're into flyer territory a little bit. Anthony Simons is there. There goes Michael Porter. Rosters are getting close to full. You've still got, what have you still got? 1, 2. Where do benches start? So you've still got 4 players left. That's right, isn't it?
I sure do, yeah.
Yeah.
$13, 4 players.
And Gary Trent is still sitting there. Keegan Murray is there.
Yeah.
Bruce Brown, he's floating around.
He's in my queue as we speak, my friend.
Zach Collins. What are you thinking for Zach Collins this season? I'm still relatively high on him.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from him last year. I was a little nervous to see what he could do with the starting opportunity because we've seen him do that before and maybe not make the most of it or live up to expectations. But I thought he was good fantasy-wise. So even with Wemby there, I still think he's worth drafting in 12-team leagues. Towards the end of your draft, though. So
Anthony Simons went for $8.
That's fine.
To Alex Barutha. That's fine. Yep.
Sure.
Marcus Smart hanging around. Are we with Jar out? We talked about Desmond Bain earlier and what he might be able to do. I feel like Smart has to be better than he was last season.
Smart will be better, I think, than he was. I think Smart will. I think Smart will thrive here in Memphis, at least for these first 25. I'm curious to see how he works alongside Ja. I have a feeling Ja will end up being the one with the ball in his hands more, but we'll wait and see. Yep.
Wendell Carter goes for $5, that's fine. I don't think he doesn't have a lot of upside, but he's a solid center. Doesn't get a lot of defensive stats, which drags his value down a bit. Klay Thompson, another member of the all boring team, I think. Although, I mean, he did improve towards the end last season. He played well, but he goes for $3. Looking back, would you rather have spent $3 on Klay Thompson or Russell Westbrook?
Klay Thompson, without a doubt, man. I will admit when I messed up. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my draft went perfectly because it was it was far from perfect.
Here is Keegan.
Damn you guys. All of you that are bidding right now. Damn all of you. Come on.
You can still go to 10, so he's only sitting at 3.
Yeah, they can have him.
They can have him. Okay, so Keegan Murray. So he is someone that you were pretty high on last season from memory, and didn't really pan out. I think he'll be better. I think he'll definitely be better this season.
Yeah.
Josh Hart, another guy playing pretty well over at the FIBA World Cup at the moment. bit of a glue guy for New York, a little bit like a Bruce Brown. Does a bit of everything. He's sitting at $3. He's going to go for $3 to Raf.
Yeah. And don't ask me would I rather had him or Westbrook. Adam, please don't.
Okay, I won't. Trey Jones coming off the board now. I'm still curious to see where Jabari Smith goes. He's still sitting there. Shaden Sharp, let's see where if he's. I think he'll be nominated. Don't know what he'll be drafted for. And then we're sort of down into some of the rookies and your fringe guys. Dennis Schroeder, you talked about him earlier. Is he someone that's draftable?
He's draftable. Sure. He's going to see some playing time for Toronto. Who else do they have at this point?
Is he the starting point guard for the all boring team?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. It's been kind of a roller coaster with him recently, man, with the turning down the money and, the haircut and everything else. I don't know.
So Trey Jones went for $5. Benedict Mathurin went for $2. So we're starting to get some of these fringe guys now. There's not many on the board that are going to demand more than about $2 or $3.
Nah.
So it's just filling out roster spots. Here goes Jabari Smith. So he's maybe one of the guys that could go for a bit of money. I'm just seeing who. So Karan has still got $24 left. Next is you with $13. So you have come back to the field, and you are bidding here. But in saying that, Karan has 7 roster spots to fill out as well. So Jabari Smith goes for $6. So you were in at 5. Didn't want to go any higher than that?
Nah, I gotta try to save some money. I know you can't take it with you after the draft, but I gotta fill these guys out.
Here's Marcus Smart. I think this could be a nice little value pick for the first few months. I think he could be top 70, top 60. Depends a lot on efficiency for Marcus Smart. Always has. He's always had some issues with scoring the basketball, but without Jar there, they don't have a ton of offense in Memphis, so they're going to need him to do something. And you get him for $8. So that I think is a nice value pick. I think he's potentially a $15, $16 guy at least. You're happy with him there, obviously?
I'm happy with that, yeah. I think that's, yeah.
PJ Washington re-signed with Charlotte. What do we think happens here now with him in the rotation? Is it Brandon Miller that takes that step back, or is sort of his minutes are reduced?
I think Miller and Washington probably end up cannibalizing each other's value. Obviously, with Bridges back in the fold, I think all three of their values kind of take a little bit of a hit compared to where they would have been last year, or for Miller at the start of this season. So, I'm not too interested in any of those guys, to be honest with you. Maybe Bridges, but certainly not Washington or Miller.
No. Here's Bruce Brown. He's going to go for about $5, which I think is lovely value. Very nice.
Love that. Yes.
Yeah, that's really nice. Another guy we touched on earlier, Zach Collins. I think you said you had him in your queue.
What the hell? Let's throw a couple bucks on him and see what happens. Now he's out of my price range. Spoke too soon.
Yeah, so you've got $5 left, 3 players. Karan's still got 24, so he's almost going to get his pick of the players here over the final few picks.
Yep.
So he has bid $7 on Zach Collins. He will probably get him. I don't think anyone else can afford him.
Yep.
So I like that. Zach Collins for $7. Adding him to Mark Williams and Anthony Davis. So Some decent shot blocking there. Andrew Wiggins, another somewhat boring player, but $2.
Yeah, pretty consistent. Oh, shit.
Thought you had him there at $2.
I did too. That would have been phenomenal.
Okay, so he will go. So we should get through this bit of the draft pretty quickly now. We're sitting at 2 hours, 10 minutes. And for those watching, if anyone has actually watched the whole thing, congratulations. It is a long draft, but these final ones should be pretty quick because there's not going to be a lot of bidding. Yusuf Nurkic has been nominated and no one is bidding. So Alex Barutha got him for $6. Probably could have nominated him for $1 and might have got him. Look, I think Nurkic this could be a lot of value here. Portland don't really have a center outside of Nurkic, so if he can stay healthy, he could certainly be top 90, top 80, and to get him for $6 feels nice. Mike Conley, possible starting point guard for the All Boring team, $3 to Alex Reclean.
I'm curious, what do you think about Portland, though? I mean, if Nurkic inevitably misses time, I mean, do they go small, or do we see somebody like a Jabari Walker maybe end up having some sort of crazy value? I can't really figure that out because, as you mentioned, they have nobody at center.
No, I think so. You're up here nominating. There's your guy. Yeah, look, I think they probably go small, although probably depends a little bit on when he gets injured, where they're sitting in the standings. If they're playing to compete, then they probably go with a strategy that could still possibly get them wins. But if they're not, then if they're just out of the playoff contention, then yeah, look, maybe they give some of these young guys a run. Did they sign Moses Brown potentially, the Blazers?
Oh, I don't know. I might have missed that.
Let me have a look. Yes, they did. So he could be a guy, like final month of the season, if he somehow gets 25 minutes a night, we've seen what he can do. So
yeah.
So we've had a few guys, as I said, this was going to go pretty quick. You got Gary Trent for how much?
$1.
$1 bargain. Jonas Valanciunas goes for $1 bargain. Going to see lots of nice dollar guys go off. Keontae George, he's a guy I'm pretty high on. Not sure to begin the season. Like a last round flyer, just to see if they do give him minutes. But if they are out of the playoff race at some point, he could very well move into the starting lineup. He goes for $1.
That's
who have we got here? Jaden McDaniels is still sitting there, so he's probably going to go for $1. Shaden Sharp for $1. Who else is sitting here?
Jordan Clarkson.
Yep, Clarkson will go. It's pretty much going to be Karan. Do we feel like Karan's probably going to have money left here, or could have had money on the table? He's got $17 left, but I don't really see that he would get in a bidding war with anyone. So he may have a little bit of money left. So we got Jordan Clarkson for $2. Jaden McDaniels for $1. I think that's really nice.
Well, and then Raph decided to bid him up to $2, and that's also fine. Take the extra. You can't take it with you.
No, that's right. So he goes for $2. Shaden Sharp. Where do we see him fitting? If Lillard is there, is it Lillard and do they start Lillard, Simons, and Sharp?
I don't know. I mean, because then where does Scoot fit in?
Where does Scoot fit in? Yeah.
I have no idea. I think the best solution for everybody is just to get rid of Lillard, and then we don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't have to choose.
So Shaden Sharp is up to $5. So a little bit of a bidding war here. He's up to $6.
Karan just bid 16, man. Come on, nobody else can touch you.
No one can bid 6, I don't think. So he'll get him for 6. Yeah, so we are moving pretty quick. So these guys now that are going off the board are generally your last round in a snake draft. You're just looking for a bit of upside. Jalen Johnson, love it. Really good upside pick. He may come in and only play 15 minutes, and if he does, you probably drop him and move on. But I think the upside is there for him to be a 12-team asset. He goes for $2.
I like Sadiq Bey a little bit better, to be honest with you.
I think initially, I think I'd prefer him initially, but I think Jalen Johnson has more upside long term. So you've where are you? You've got $4 left and 2 players left.
Yeah, big spender.
Yeah, Obi Toppin.
Ain't no stopping.
$3. Oh, $4. A bidding war indeed.
Yeah, it's because they have all that tape of him catching lobs from Halliburton against plumbers and mechanics.
Yeah. He goes for $4. Yeah, it's okay. I think he's probably only a $1 or $2 player, but you've got money to spend now. You've got to spend it. So
yeah, I think with Toppin in fantasy drafts, like I'd just rather see where him and Jarris Walker go. It's kind of like Okongwu and Capella. I'll take the cheaper guy and see how it pans out.
Yeah. We've got Bobby Portis. So looking at the rosters, as I said, pretty much everyone is at least got 12-ish players, except for Mitch Casey, who needs to wake up. He's still got 6 players to pick with $8, and Day to Day has 7 players left with $7. So we're looking at a lot of $1 players to come off the board.
They'll be bidding against themselves for the final 8 rounds.
Yeah, so they've gone very top heavy. We've got dollar guys coming off. Bobby Portis for $1, Dennis Schroeder for $1.
Who cares? Yawn. Go back to sleep.
Yeah. Look, I would say, let me drag this up here. So you're nominating here.
Shit. It was. I didn't mean to nominate Christian Wood. I like Christian Wood. He was in my queue, but I had another guy I wanted to take. I'll get my guy.
He's now going to be on your team because I don't think anyone's going to bid for him.
That's fine. I wanted him anyway, but I wanted another guy to nominate. But that's all right. I'm not quick with the buttons. I need to wake up apparently.
So if I sort of scroll through and look at guys with probably top 100 upside, because that's what you're looking for here. Is there anyone? I like Quentin Grimes. I really like him as a last pick in a draft. Grant Williams, what do you think he does this year in Dallas? He'll start, pretty sure.
Yeah, he'll be that typical guy that Dallas brings in alongside Luka and Kyrie to do 3-and-D stuff. I mean, he's not going to score. He'll hit some triples. He'll be like a DFS or a Reggie Bullock or one of these boys, and maybe flirt with top 100 value if he sees 25 to 30 minutes. But he's going to be riding the bench of that all boring team, dude. You're going to take a snooze before you plug him into your lineup.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, we saw Finney Smith had a top 100 season a couple of years ago in that role, so I think it's doable. Jalen Suggs, any interest in him this year? Any hope in him? No?
Nope. Didn't have any last year. Don't have any this year.
Okay. We're down. Jonathan Isaac, any interest in him?
No interest there either, man. I really do not want to have any Magic players on my team this season. I have absolutely no interest. That is it feels to me like a crapshoot, similar to Houston, but with less upside.
Last pick in a draft. What do you think about Luke Kennard?
If you need 3-pointers,
Yep.
that's fine. But most leagues aren't using 3-point percentage, so
No.
depending on how many minutes he's going to get, I don't think he's really worth too awful much at the end of a draft. To be honest, with the upside's not there.
No, I don't think the upside's there. I think he plays 28 minutes a night.
Wow.
To start, I just think without Morant, if you have a look at what he did down the stretch last year, I can pull up his number. I know because I was looking at guys. I like to look for late round targets. If you look down the stretch last season, he was playing upwards of 25 minutes for the last couple of weeks, multiple threes, no Jar, no Tyus Jones. So I think he'll have a nice role. He doesn't do much, threes only, but I think he could be pretty elite in 3-pointers. So we've got rosters starting to fill up. You've got one spot left. Quite a few rosters that have only got, like Raf has got 4 spots left and only $4. So we've got quite a few teams that only have dollar players left now. So nothing very exciting. Some of the guys that have gone off the board. After Christian Wood, we had Denny Avdia for $1, Vezenkov for $1. Sneaky. Vezenkov, I think, will have a good role in Sacramento. Quentin Grimes for $3. So he went a little bit higher. I don't mind that. I think I like Grimes. Melton went for $4. Josh Richardson for $4. Herb Jones for $1. Amen Thompson for $2. Caldwell Pope for $1. Kevin Porter about to go.
That's who I was going to nominate, so I'll go ahead and grab him there.
Yep. So you got him for $2. What do you think about Josh Richardson this season back in Miami? I think there's a role there for him.
I think there's got to be. I mean, they lost Gabe Vincent. They lost Max Strus. Apparently, Kyle Lowry is not going to return. So Josh Richardson, by default, is going to have to take on a big role. I mean, early in his career, he was a fantasy I don't necessarily want to say stud, but a solid fantasy player when he was with Miami.
He was. Yeah, I think he's probably close to 30 minutes. This year, he sort of has to be. He's not what he was sort of 5 years ago when he was in Miami, but he'll still get you, 12, 13 points. He'll get you a steal, a couple of threes. He's relatively efficient. So it doesn't really hurt you anywhere. A little bit like your Otto Porter from 6 years ago when he was a good fantasy player because he just didn't do anything bad. He wasn't good, but he wasn't bad. Kevin Porter, as I said, you got him for $2. Keldon Johnson for $1. Santi Aldama for $1. Malcolm Brogdon for $1 is nice. I think Brogdon's got to have a role. Someone's got to play backup point guard. Patrick
Keldon
Williams
for
$1. Patrick Williams for $1. That feels pretty nice. He's going to have a role for Chicago this year.
He feels to me like a guy that's way better in real life than he is for fantasy, though.
Yeah. Paul Reed's interesting. So he's up to $3. We've heard that they are potentially going to look at playing him alongside Embiid. What do you think? Can that be done? Is that something that could work?
I think it could definitely work. And we've seen Paul Reed just how effective he can be when he's given playing time. So let's see what he can do, especially when he's out there alongside Embiid. But I don't see that being a fit that doesn't work necessarily.
We've got Ivica Zubats. As my cat goes nuts.
For $1 though, 8 rebounds floor.
Yeah, double basically. Doesn't get
Maybe
you
a block.
maybe a block, yeah, but a good free throw shooter, which is a
Yep.
nice little bonus to have from a center. Brandon Miller, he'll go for $1.
Yep.
So we don't have many picks left other than Day to Day, who still has 5 $1 picks to make. Cole Anthony, is he the odd man out, do you think, in Orlando?
Probably. I have no idea, man. If I had to guess, yes, but that is just such a crowded backcourt, crowded roster in general, but especially crowded backcourt. That's tough.
Who have we got with some upside here? There's not a lot of upside left on the board.
Kevin Huerter, forgot about
Kevin
him.
Huerter.
I like that.
Did I scroll past him?
That'd be fine
Maybe he
for
was just at
$1.
the top. Yeah.
He's nominated right now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Kevin Huerter for $1, so $2. Karan will get him for $2. Yeah, look, that's nice. He was good last season, flew under the radar a little bit. Doesn't have a particularly high ceiling, but I think his floor is very safe. Jeremy Sohan. What his role this year in San Antonio? What do you think? Are they going to start Keldon Johnson at the 3 with Zach Collins at the 5? Do they bring Keldon off the bench?
I feel like it would probably behoove them to do that. I mean, just for his scoring, and we could, you could have Sohan out there for the defense potentially.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sohan to me is maybe in that Patrick Williams vein that we just mentioned. Maybe just a better glue real life guy than fantasy guy. It's not a lot of intrigue for me for Sohan.
No, he went for $1. $2.
Yeah.
Steven Adams just went for $1. Yeah, a little bit like your Zubats pick a few picks ago, but not as good from the free throw line. But probably he'll get you a couple of assists, and maybe slightly more on the defensive end as well. Kyle Anderson, very good last year, but his role will scale back a little bit with Towns healthy.
Yep.
Anthony Black. So your roster is full. So I probably don't need to worry too much about this pick. So your roster, you've got De'Aaron Fox, Scoot Henderson in your backcourt, Mobley, Zach LaVine at the forward spots, Wembanyama as your center. He's only eligible at center. Oh, no, forward as well. Okay, so then you've got Kessler, Tyler Hero, Russell Westbrook, Jordan Poole, Javon Carter, Marcus Smart, Gary Trent, Christian Wood, and Kevin Porter. Thoughts on your roster? I know we've sort of touched on you probably overpaid for Kessler, maybe regret the Westbrook pick. But then there's some nice value picks there. So what are your sort of initial thoughts on your build and who you picked?
Yeah, overpaid on Kessler. Probably overpaid, maybe overpaid on Wemby. Verdicts or jury's out on that one. I think I did get some great value though. With that said, I am kind of looking at some of these other rosters and wondering maybe I should have gone for at least one or two studs in here, at least one first rounder instead of kind of going with what I did with all mid, third to fifth type of round guys. So a little bit of regret there. It's a learning experience. So it's a mock, It
is. It's a mock. It's a first mock. But it does give you a good idea. I mean, obviously, as you get later in the draft, the value skews a little bit because people are starting to run out of money. But I think for that first sort of 60, 80 picks, it gives you a good idea of who's going where and at what price. And the different strategies. As we saw, you sort of held off early and then went balls deep for a little period there where you loaded up your roster and then had to sit back towards the end. Mitch Casey went balls deep early and then had to take about 45 minutes off. Alex Bruthers sort of bided his time and then got some really nice value picks. Karan went with some injury prone but upside guys. So no, I think there's a range of strategies which I think is one of the benefits of an auction draft is that it doesn't. You can utilize your strategy no matter what, and gives you time. You do have to stay on the ball the whole time, but you don't have to go. You don't have to reach potentially as much because you're not drafting at a certain spot. So I think it's been a really good exercise for anyone that hasn't done an auction draft, and gives you an idea of the time required to do it as well. So you can knock a snake draft off in 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, whereas this, we're looking at 2.5 hours here, and we're basically done. So any final thoughts? Because I'm not going to keep you any longer. It's getting late over there, and I need to go and probably spend Father's Day with my kids.
Yeah, the only final thoughts I'll share are, as you mentioned, it's a good exercise. I remember doing an auction with Josh Lloyd last season, and I think the title of his video was "This is the worst draft I've ever done" or something. Yeah. So, like, anybody that's doing these auction drafts, whether it's me, you, or Josh Lloyd, who I think all of us have a ton of respect for, it's very easy to get caught up in the bidding or to lose track of a certain strategy when you're doing these auctions. So I think these, more than regular redraft, snake draft, I think these require a lot more practice and a lot more thought. It's a lot easier to go off the rails here and kind of lose focus,
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. The draft is done. So I will, look, I will let you go because it has been a long one. Let me just get rid of this. That will do it for today's show. Quickly, what have you got coming up in the next month before we will really be in the middle of draft season then?
Yeah, so me, Raph, and Noah have been going balls deep on the Rotoworld NBA Draft Guide. So that is due to come out on September 18th, which is just over 2 weeks from now. We have over 300 player outlooks. We have, over a dozen different strategy articles. We have, of course, all of our rankings, projections, coming out on that date. So be on the lookout for that one. We'll be working hard over the next couple of weeks and look forward to sharing with everybody.
Thanks again for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on again before the season starts. Remember as well, if you were watching, drop that keyword into the chat and subscribe. That would be really good. Thank you for tuning in. If you stuck it out, we really appreciate it. That will do for the show. Check out all of our content over at fbibasketball.com. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Why not? We like thumbs up over here at FBI. Until next time, catch up.
You just listened to another episode from the Fantasy Basketball International Podcast Network. Thanks for joining us. And for more information about joining our community, please check out our website at fbibasketball.com.